Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Parkside Cabin Rentals. The cabins belonging to these folks have really filled up over the next 2 months, and I want to thank you for that because we were telling you get up there during the holidays. Now, they still have some availability during the week, and they've got great prices during the week, so you want to check ParksideCabinRentals.com. But also, I know that they've got a new property, and it is right in downtown Gatlinburg. It's just off the main drag. It's as close to the city as you can get with one of their cabins. It's called City Bear. So if you go and you check their 4-bedroom cabins on their website and you see City Bear, look inside that thing. Like all of their cabins, it is just an entertainment palace. It's just fantastic. But that one was available, some availability on the weekends still, so you can check that one out. Parkside Cabin Rentals, they've always got a good deal. So visit them, like I say, during the week. If you're looking for a good place to get away for the holidays, they have some availabilities during the week right now. ParksideCabinRentals.com. All right, Tennessee running backs coach Jerry Mack interviewed for the head coaching position at Akron earlier this week. That was a long shot. Not going to get that job. And he's already taken his name out of the mix, reportedly. Tim Banks, that serves as a reminder that guys could be leaving, that you've already had one guy interview. Tim Banks has been nominated for the Frank Broyles Award, which is really impressive. We talked about that Friday on your radio show, the fact that here's a guy, the stats don't show it, but it shows how other coaches and other people around the nation look at it and go, you mean he lost all those players, he's with that offense, and he's doing this job? That's one of the best coaching jobs by an assistant in the country. So now you got to wonder about what's Tim Banks' future. My question for you, has the importance of keeping this staff together gone up in terms of where you were at the start of the season and where you are now? Because it certainly has for me.
Absolutely. I mean, to be honest with you, some of the coaches that they hired, I didn't know who they were. Had to go get on Google to find out about some of them. And I think this staff's done a really good job. They appear to be very cohesive. I think they've gotten, for the most part, the most out of the talent that they have. And so, yeah, you do run that risk. And there wasn't anybody on that staff that was capable of getting fired after 4 games.
Yeah, exactly.
So by God,
they might have been capable of it, but it didn't happen.
Well, they didn't. Maybe they just didn't have a nitwit as their head coach ready to fire somebody after 4 games.
I think I would look at this and say, don't you have a pretty good thing going here? What's the one thing that you really have to accomplish to keep it going? To me, is recruiting. You're going to have to get players. If you start losing assistant coaches, isn't that the great unknown about how the recruiting is going to go? And then who will Josh Heupel, if he does have to go find somebody, who does he turn to in his circle of his sphere of influence? So yeah, it is a concern.
Josh?
Yeah, and to be clear, I never expect everybody to come back. It's just college football, and that's the way that it goes. But 100%, I agree. You're hoping as many guys as you can stay next year for continuity within the staff, with the development of the players, which you've built behind the scenes that we heard so much in the offseason. We've seen it, I think, on the field, and then recruiting. I think relationships have started, especially for the 2023 class, so next year's class, which has, I think, a really good chance to be much better than this year's class for Tennessee. So you want to keep building that.
Yeah, and Bob, I went into this season thinking, you never want to have staff turnover, but I didn't go into this season thinking, okay, by year's end, you're going to want to do this and this and this, and you got to keep your staff together. The staff, you want to hold these guys. But after seeing what this defense has done, after seeing the way the offense has done what it was supposed to do, I'm now thinking, you don't want to lose any of these guys, which is a big switch.
And the good thing for these coaches is if you're losing coaches and they're working their way up, that's usually a pretty good thing. That means other guys are going to want to come and take their place, and they're probably going to be pretty good coaches too. I think sometimes under Pruitt and sometimes under other coaches that have been here, you've seen guys move laterally. You've even seen guys that have taken lesser positions.
Just to get out.
So if they're moving up, good for them. I think we all want to move up in our jobs and our careers. But I think that would make it easier for Heupel to sell this to other people too. You're not looking at changing just because, like you said, okay, 4 games into it, you're out of here, you're done. Yeah. So I think it could be a negative. I want to see them stay together, but it could also be, hey, he's hiring good people, which means he should be able to hire more good people.
If I'm Danny White though, and I'm looking at it, and there are all these things you can spend money on, after this year, the way things feel like they're going in the right direction. And granted, coaches will have good years, they'll have bad
Yeah.
years. Nobody's, with the exception of Nick Saban, nobody just stays here all the time. Everybody's up and down. Some guys on the staff will look at it in the future and go, oh, he had a bad year. But if I'm Danny White right now, and you've been needing positivity, and everything seems to be pointing in the right direction, I'm a little quicker to reach for my checkbook if somebody comes in and says, I need a raise. I would be more willing to stroke a check this year with what's going on than I would have been in years past.
And the fear of losing a coach is not a bad thing, because that means the coach is typically doing something good, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm agreeing with you, though. If there's somebody, if it comes down to money, you shouldn't be losing somebody for that reason.
Yeah, Tim Banks isn't going somewhere else because he's making more money. That's the way I would look at it. Okay, very good. When we come back, who has done the best coaching job in the SEC this year? I came up with 5 guys. These guys can throw in a 6th if they want, but you can't throw in a 7th. But we'll throw in 5 guys and we'll discuss who's had the best job. There have been 5 really good jobs done this year. We'll talk about them next. Come on back on the Sports Source.